Okay, good afternoon all. Right, so today, we want to continue with our SQL discussion, right? So we want to finish a good part of the discussion today. Okay, right. So far we have discussed the create statements, alter statements, drop statements, that is data definition language. So then we moved on to data manipulation language. So we discussed the insert. Okay, insert. So insert two approaches with fields names, without field names. You can use insert statement to insert one record or multiple records. Remember? Right. So those things we have discussed. So today we move on to update and delete. Right. So update statements are used to update, not insert a record. The record is already there. You want to update one or more fields. Right. Update one or more fields. You can use update statement. So this is the syntax: update, table name, set, column name, the new value for that updated value for that comma separated. You can update any number of fields in the same update statement. And optionally, you can have where condition. If you don't have the where condition, all the records will be updated. So therefore, almost all the time we will be using where condition. Otherwise, if you have 100 records in the table, all 100 records are updated. Okay. Right. So let's do some examples. Let me open SAM. I'll go to the admin console because it's faster, easier. I'm still waiting for the admin page, okay? Right, so the database we have been using is A-Level-ICT 2026. Right, so we have created two tables, employee, uh, no records yet. Uh, department, we have inserted some records, okay? Right, so shall we insert few records to that employee so that we can do some serious updates? Remember, we have some departments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We have 6 departments, so we can use the foreign key value as well. So, what is the structure? Right, so, let me open our note, code. Right, I will open with Notepad++, okay, because then we get syntax highlighting. Right. So let's insert few data for our employee table as well, okay? Insert into employee. So what are the fields? Let's do it with field names, okay? Let me close others. Employee ID, name, DOB, salary, department ID. Employee ID, name, DOB, salary, department ID. Okay. Employee, employee ID, name, DOB, salary, department ID. You can have any order because we use the field name, but make sure your spellings are correct, otherwise you get errors. Right. So haven't we I don't think we introduced an auto number. So therefore let's see whether we have introduced auto number. Otherwise, we need to give value for the primary key, no auto number. So let's give some values. Say one, name. I'll just give only one first name. Date of birth, you need to give it with correct format, otherwise you will get error. Okay, so if I can remember correct, it should be year, date, month. Okay, say 2000, then date, say 20th, 10th, say 10th, or say let's say 8th. Then salary, let's say 120,000. Uh, I have not enforced referential integrity, but therefore you can add any department ID. Uh, but let's make it very department ID also, right? Only, let's say two, and let's say whether we get correct visas, right? SQL, make sure you are in the correct database, right? So then I'll say go, right? Salary, there's a spelling mistake. Salary. So if there are spelling mistakes, definitely you are going to get errors. Right. So we can check whether the record is properly inserted. Yes. You can see date of birth is 0000 blah blah blah. That means my format is wrong. Okay. That is why we got 0000 blah blah blah. Let me double check the format. I think it is other way. What is default date format in my SQL? Maybe this is date first. No, year, month, date. Right? Year, month, date, not year, date, month. I thought it's US format. So that is why we got the error. Not the error, actually. This is not valid month. So it should have been 8, 10, 20. Okay. So I will insert it again, but after deleting this record. Okay. Right. I will delete this and insert it back. Right. SQL. Go. So these are practical subject. You need bit of patience, time. Right. So now it is right. 2008, 20. So let's insert few more records because we need some data for querying also later. So let's insert multiple records. Okay. Say to Amal, 25,000. Say one. I will do comma separation and insert few more records. Okay. Right. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just adding simple names, okay? Comma. That is just for ease. Yeah. So maybe make sure those are valid numbers. Right. So let's spread them to different departments. 3, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Right. So I'm going to insert 4 in records at the using the same SQL. Okay. So we discussed this last class. It must be comma separated, right? Otherwise I will get errors. Let me fix it here. Right. So now I should not get any errors, right? Go. Right. So now if I go to browse, I should see 5 records. Yes. Okay. Right. So now let's discuss the update because we can update employees because employee table has more fields. Right. So now we are into the update. So this is the simple way of doing update. Update table name. Okay. Then set field name equal value comma separated. Last one, don't use comma. Let's change someone's salary. Salary e 160,000. Now, if I execute this, everyone's salary will be updated to the 160,000. But that is not I want. That is not what I want to do. So therefore, I'll use where condition. Where say employee ID equal 4. So that is Kamal's salary is going to be changed to 160,000. Okay. Is it clear? Let's see. Go. Right. Success. So now Kamal's salary is 160,000. Correct. Updated. Right. So that is how you do. Any questions? Now, if you want, you can update multiple fields as well. Say salary equal 170,000, comma, say date of birth, DOB equal, say 1999, 10th month, 25. So where employee ID is, let's say 5. So that means we change Bimal's uh, date of birth 1988 to 1998, and also his salary is changed from 1900 to 100, sorry, 190,000 to 170,000. So 2 fields are changed. So this one we have uh, comma because this is the first change, but here don't have comma because that is the last one. And remember, when you work with vacha or strings and dates, you need quotes, right? Otherwise, you don't need quotes. It's optional. Right. So now we should change employee 5, that is Bimal. Right, success. Right, Bimal's salary has changed to 170,000. Date of birth is now 1998. Correct. Okay. So that is how you do it. So if you want, you can update all the fields also. Just comma separated. But last one, don't use comma. Otherwise you get error. And the other thing is, so far we have changed update only one record because employee ID is primary key. So when you have a number like this, it's only one record is satisfied. But if you want, you can update multiple records as well. For example, I can say salary equal 1,500 where department ID is 3. Then all the employees with department ID 3 their salary will be 1,700. Right? So rather than employee ID, I will say department ID is 3. So that means multiple records will be updated because there are multiple records satisfying department ID 3. Okay, forget about the date of birth. So we change salary 1,700. Okay, so let's see. That means all the employees in department 3 now we are going to have 170,000. Right? Currently 125, 155. Go. If you have any questions, you need to ask. And you can see department 3 employees salary is now 170,000. So two records had been updated. Okay. So your update statement will update single record or multiple record. It can update one field or multiple field. That means multiple field, multiple records are also possible. And of course, if your where condition does not satisfy any field, any record, no record will be updated. Say there's no such department ID, there's no such employee ID. So then nothing, you don't get error, right? Because just it will say zero records updated. Okay. And in where condition, we can use equal, not equal, numeric fields. You can say greater than, no equal to, is less than, no equal to, and so on. You will see more of those possibilities when we discuss select statements. So almost everything you do with select statements where you can do with update also, update pairs. But we will discuss more of those using select. But those things are applicable to updates, delete as well. Only thing is insert statement you don't have where. Okay. And the other thing is in where condition we can combine using and or not. For example, I can say update salary equal 170,000 where employee ID equal 3 and salary say less than. So let's see what are the salary values for employee ID. Sorry, let's say department ID. So what are the current values? Department ID 3. Okay, let's say department ID 2 because we have two different salaries. 120,000 and 160,000. So I'll say department ID 2 when salary greater than less than 150,000 only do this update. So then only this will be updated. Okay. Right. Salary less than 150,000 and department ID 2 make the salary 170,000. So that means Nimal salary will be changed to 170,000, but not Kamal's salary. Kamal's salary will remain 160,000. 106, 160,000. Okay. Right. So let's execute the SQL. Only one record satisfy this because it's and. Right. Right. So this salary has changed to 170,000, but this is not changed because uh, Kamal's salary is already bigger than 150,000. Okay. So you can use and or not. Okay. So I'm not going to cover everything because those are mentioned in the note. So you need to refer to note as well. Right. Other thing is when you do updates, you can refer to the old value. For example, current salary of employee one is 170,000. So I can say employee ID one. I can say salary equal salary, say plus 20,000. That means increase the salary by current salary. This is the current salary. This is the new salary. So current salary at 20,000 is the new salary. So therefore now employee ID, employee one's current salary is 170,000. So after this update statement, it will be 190,000. Let's see. Right. Now if I go there, I should say 190,000. 170,000 has been updated to 190,000 because the SQL statement says salary equals salary plus 2. Likewise, you need to experiment with and see what are the valid SQLs, what are the invalid. What happens when you do something like that? I'm just giving you some possible scenarios. Something. I can't cover all the possibilities, but you can cover good part of all the possibilities. So then you are very comfortable when you go for the exams. Right. So that is update. Right? So you need to try out few more possibilities. You can just use your imagination. Right? You can use or, not. You can combine and or not with brackets. Right? Say department ID equal to or salary is less than 1,500 and salary is bigger than 1,000, 30,000, 130,000, something like that. Or you can use between. There's another operator called between. So those are mentioned in the note. Right. So now let's move on to delete. And the other thing is if you omit where all the records will be updated. For example, if you execute this part, everyone's salary will be incremented by 20,000. Everyone's salary. Okay, let's see. Do that. Say, say everyone's salary is going to be incremented by 10,000. Every record. Because there's no where condition. Right? So currently it is 190,000, 170,000 and so on, right? Now it should be 200,000, 180,000. Yes, everyone's salary has been included. Right, our next one is delete. Delete is the easiest. So simply you say delete from the table name, say employee. If you write like this, all the records will be deleted. If there are 1,000 records, all 1,000 records are deleted from the employee table. But usually you don't need to do this. But this is the way to do it if you want to delete the entire table. Or you can say truncate. because truncate will drop and recreate the table that effectively delete all the records. But this is the other way. I will not execute this because this will delete all the records, right? But I will use where condition. Say where, say employee ID. Let's delete the last record. Employee ID 5. So this will delete the record number 5. That is Bimal. Right? So let's see whether Bimal is there. No, Bimal is no longer there. Right? Any questions? Anything? Again, if you don't use where, every record will be deleted. And in the where condition, you can't do any change here because it's just delete. Where condition, again, you can use and, or, not. And operators like equal, is greater than, is less than, is greater than, or equal to, is less than, equal to, between, is null. We will do those situations when we do select, but those are applicable to update and delete as well. Okay. And again, if this where condition satisfy multiple records, all those multiple records will be deleted. For example, if you want to delete all the employees of department 2, say there are 5 employees, all 5 will be deleted. So then you need to say where department ID is this. Department. Of course, I am not going to execute this because this will delete multiple records. Okay. Right. No record for the department 5. But if I choose something like department 2, these 2 records will be deleted. Okay. So I'm not going to execute it, but you can try it when you have time. Okay. That means your delete statement may delete no records. That is your where condition just does not satisfy any record. One record, that is your where condition satisfy only one record, or multiple records where condition satisfy multiple records. Right. Any questions? Because delete is super easy. Nothing. Where only thing is you can control where with and or not and so on. Right. So now we are done with data. We have done data definition, data manipulation. Now we are into the data query language. That is SQL. Sorry, that is select. Right. DQL. That is select. Right. We'll take a small break and then we'll start working on select. So now we are into the last part of the SQL. Okay, but this is the more challenging part. Right. So we'll start at 440. And it will be select statements. Okay. We'll try to finish select statement today if possible. Right. 440. Right. So now we'll move on to select statement. That is our last statement, but there are so many variations of select statements. So let's start with the very simple. Okay. I will share you the code at the end of the class. Right. So select statement is to retrieve data. So the simplest form of select statement is select star. Star means all. All means all the fields, right? Not all the records, all the fields. Select all, say from, say table name. Again, if there's no where condition, it will take all the records. Because of the star, it will take all the fields. That means all the records, all the fields. Right? Simple as that. So that means it will get all the records, all the fields. So here we have 4 records, and we will get all the fields. Okay, just like this output. Right? Select all from employee. Go. Right. So pretty much everything. Right. Now, if you don't want all the fields, you can restrict. Say select. You can say which fields you want. Maybe employee ID. Just employee ID. So just you need the employee IDs, but all the records. Square. Go. So just the employee ID. So, but all the records. So if you need say employee ID and name, so then employee ID comma name. So likewise, you can control which fields you want. Star means you want all the fields. Employee ID and name. Is it clear? If you have any questions, you need to ask. Okay. So I need name and salary. Name, comma, salary. Nothing else. And you can get it in whatever the order you want. Name and salary. And other thing is, if you want to show it in different name, for example, here we use the field name, table field name. So therefore your output also use the same name as your table. But if you want different name, you can say something like this. Say name as is, it's a keyword again. Let's say if you have spaces, you must use quotes. Otherwise, you don't need to use quotes as well. Say e name, salary as e salary. If you want to show it in a different name, use as for each and every field, or the field where you want different name than the column name. This is just the displaying of the output is now different. Okay. Same results. But now name is displayed as e name. Salary is displayed as e salary or whatever. But if you have spaces in your name, make sure you have quotes like employee name. Now we have space. Make sure you have quotes, single or double quotes. The employee salary. Space. If you have space, make sure you use quotes, single quotes or double quotes. Yes, this is easy, but you need to learn it systematically. What are the possibilities? Because examiners like those tricky scenarios. You can see employee name. Now the output is shown as employee name, employee salary with space. Okay. Now you can restrict the fields as well. And also you can get it in particular order, sorted. Okay, let's do it like that. Say select all from employee. Order by. Okay. Order by, say salary. By default, ascending order, smaller to bigger. Okay. Smaller to bigger. That is more. So far, we got the record in the same order as it is in the table. Right. So, what is the order it is in this table? 1, 2, 3, 4 employee IDs. For Nimal, Kamal, Chamal, Kamal. But now I want it order by salary. So therefore, I should first get, we have same salary twice. So then whatever the value will come, maybe for probably employee ID 2 will come first. So then it will be most probably Amal, Chamal, Kamal and Nimal because Nimal has the higher salary. Right? Let's see. Order by salary. Okay. Kamal has come first. That's okay because there's a tie. But definitely, yeah, Amal Chamal. This 170,000, both are 180,000. So then Amal has come first because it's a tie. Then, of course, the Nibal having the higher salary. And this is equivalent to saying that, and this is equivalent to saying that order by salary ascending, both are the same. By default, it is ascending. Okay. By default, it is ascending. So therefore, if I write salary AC, I get the same output, identical output. Okay. But if you need it in the descending order, that is bigger to smaller, yes, then you need to say DES, DES, descending. Sorry, DSC, descending. Why not? Descending. DECS. Okay, let me double check what is descending. ACDESC. DESC. And now it's the descending order. That is bigger salary to the smaller salary. Ascending is, so that means first record will be Nimal now. Because descending. Right. First record is Nimal goes to 100,000, then salary 108,000, then tie is there. Then probably the low employee ID has come first. Then the smallest salary is 170,000. Descending order. And again, we can use where condition because so far we have been getting all the records. Okay. So we can use where condition, select, say all from employee. Now, if you want, you can have where condition. So let's write it in steps now, okay? So that is more readable. where, say, department ID equal to any records having a department ID 2 will be retrieved, all the fields. Where department ID 2? Yes, 2 employees. So we should get only those 2 employees. Is it clear? Because this is a very easy subject. You should do it proper way. And now you can combine, select where condition restricting fields. Like for example, select ID, employee ID, comma, salary. From employee where department ID is 2. Okay. I just try to do it faster because then only you will feel like this is a small subject. Otherwise, you will feel like this is a hell a lot of subject, big subject. No. Right. So then in where condition, you can again use and or not. Right? And also here you can use different operators. Okay, let's use some. So most of the stuff I do it in the where condition here is applicable to update and delete also because there also you can restrict. Says salary greater than or equal to 170,000. So that means get the employee IDs and salaries. So let's say name and salaries of those having salary greater than 170,000. Do we have such records? Of course, there are 3 records because this is not this is also covered, right? So therefore, let's change it. 165,000. Okay, 175,000. Right. So now 170,000 employee will not be selected, but other 3 employees will be selected. Okay. Is greater than or equal to, is less than or equal to. Right. Is equal, is not equal is also there. Let's do that. Say department ID not equal to. This is how you say not equal. So now you will get name and salary of the employees whose department ID is not equal to 2. Let's say select all, but you should not, you will not get any employees with department ID 2. So you can see department ID 3 is there, but no department ID 2. Not equal. Okay. Equal, not equal, greater than, no equal, less than, no equal, greater than, less than. Okay. And also you can use and or not. So we can say, let's have another employee record because we need a little bit more records. And so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's have another record with salary 140,000. Right. So let's call that fifth record. I will use this easy way. Okay. 5. Rohan 2000 month 10 date 30th. And salary 145,000. Let's say department is 1. Right. So now I have a little bit more deep reports. Right. So let's do a select, say where salary greater than or equal to 150,000, and again you need to say salary less than or equal to 170,000. That means only salary between 150,000 to 170,000 inclusive will be selected, and all the fields. So that means definitely I'm going to get no records, right? Uh, we have one record. Just one record will be there. That is Kamal. Okay. Just the Kamal record, because only that record satisfy this condition, and it's and. Similarly, you can use O not, say salary is less than or equal to 150,000, or salary greater than or equal to 180,000. So if it is salary greater than or equal to 150,000, you get. Greater than or equal to 180,000, you get. The middle guys will not be there. Okay. So that means 150,000 to 180,000 range. This is not there. This will be there. This will be there. These three records will be there. Right? Three records will be there. Four records. 150,000 and 108,000. Less than 150,000, yes, this is less than 150,000. Or greater than or equal to 108,000, yes, these are greater than or equal to 108,000. This is less than 150,000 because this is all, right? We didn't use any and, right? So let's use and. Sorry, not of course. Here also it is a not, but same thing you can write it in this way also. Look at the output of this one, okay? How many records we get? Two, right? Three records. So we get the same output if you write it like this. Not department ID equal to 2. So this is another way. But of course, this is much simpler, but this is very not operate. So I should get the same output. Three records. Same out. Right? It's very easy. Only thing is you must the content is little bit the high, because this is what you are supposed to know, whether you are doing A-level ICT or degree course, so you are in the industry, because this SQL is SQL. So we cover almost everything in SQL. Okay, almost everything, almost 80%. And now you can start combining all these things, right? And or not, you can restrict the fields, you can use as. Okay, for example, you can say select name as employee name, salary as employee salary. Where, sorry, from employee, where department ID equal to, say, order by name, this ascending, or order by name is ascending. Are we going to get more than one records? Department ID 2. Yes. So then order by name. First you should get Kamal, then Nimal, because K comes before N. Kamal and Nimal. Kamal, Nimal. So here we have restricted fields and we have given our own alias or names, and we have restricted the records, and also we have used order by sorting. Is it clear? You can see how much we have discussed so far today. Okay. We started somewhere here. So you need to do this as a practical session if you want a good results in your A level. Right. So now we move on to, of course, you can create very complex where conditions, right? Using and or not. That is up to you. But so far in your exams, examiner has not asked very complicated select statements. So that is a good point, but it doesn't mean there's no guarantee like that. It happened the same for you guys. But so far, examiner is pretty much the maximum level of complexity is somewhere here. Okay. But of course, year by year, things are getting more and more challenging. Okay. Right. So now we will look at summary queries. Again, we are into this SQL select a special type of queries. Now things are getting a little bit more challenging now. Of course, it is easy, but you need a little bit more serious to understand from this point onwards. Right. Summary queries are something like you want to count the records. How many records are there satisfying that where condition? Or you want to get the maximum value, minimum value, average value. So that means we do some calculations and get that value. So then it is not related to one record. Right? For example, average salary is not related to any single record, right? Average salary is related to all the records. So therefore, you need to be very careful now. So no point as name and average salary. There's nothing called now name for average salary, right? Right. So let's write down select. Say if you want the number of records, it's very easy. There's a function called count. To that, usually we give star. That means count records from, say, employee. Of course, you can see that this doesn't make sense to do order by and so on here, right? Because it's going to give me just a count. How many records are there? Count is a function, aggregate summary query function. Okay, let's say go. Right, it says count is 5 because there are 5 records. 5 records. Now, rather than the name count star, if you want, you can give it a different name. Say count star as, otherwise the output is also count star. Okay. say number of employees. Space, if there are spaces, use quote. Number of employees. So that means your count value is presented as number of employees. It's just a text in the output. Right. So now you can see number of employees is 5. So other than count, you have sum, max, mean, average, AVG. But those you can use only with numeric fields because there's nothing called sum of names. It doesn't make sense. So make sure you use numerical fields. Say max salary. Mind your spellings, okay? Otherwise you get errors. Then mean salary. Then average salary. Sum of the salary. These are all SQL functions. AVG. Right? So you need the sum of salary. All the sum of all the salaries. 875,000. You can submit and double check. Now here don't say select employee ID sum of salary. It doesn't make sense, right? Or average salary of all the employees. It's 175,000. Okay. Right. Any questions about aggregate function? So summary queries. Now, don't write something like this because you must know that it doesn't make sense, right? For example, say something like ID or employee ID or name. It doesn't make sense, right? Because there's nothing called employee ID and sum of salary, right? You get error because it doesn't make sense. So you need to understand that this gives you error as well. What you can do, what you can't do. Okay. Error. Make sure you can use max, mean, sum, average only with numeric fields. Non-numeric fields, you can use only count, but count again you can use rather than a field, you can use star also. Here also, if you want, you can use S. Say max salary as maximum salary. If you have spaces, make sure you have double quotes or single quotes. Now the output has different text. Okay, different text. Right. Any questions on summary queries? Right. So when we use summary queries, there's an interesting concept. Uh, if you want, you can still use where condition. Right. So, right. If I write this kind of a query, what is the output? Select sum of salary from employee. This will give you the sum of all the salaries. Obviously, very easy to understand. Okay, so that is 875,000. But sometimes maybe you want the sum of salary maybe categorized by department. So what is the sum of salary for department one? Department two. Then you need to say group by department ID. Okay. So that means department wise you need the sum. Department one, what is the sum of salary? Department two, what is the sum of salary? So these are some advanced things, right? If you have any question, you need to ask. If there's any doubt. This is department one salary. Okay. So when you take like this, you can see it doesn't make it is not very user friendly, right? Because we don't know which department is which salary. Some. So in this kind of situation, obviously, if you have it, your group by field can also be displayed. You can say department ID, comma, sum of salary. So that means department ID and that department sum of salary. Make sure it is same as your order by field. You can't just add random fields like employee ID, date of birth, then you get errors. But whatever the field you use for group by can be part of your select as well, other than your aggregation or summary query. That is common sense. Right? Department one sum. The Department 2 sum of the salary is 370,000. Department two's total salary is 360,000. Okay. Is it clear? Now there's a little bit I'm going to make it challenging now. So when you do this, if you want, you can use where condition. Here also, if you want, you can do use where condition. I forgot to mention that. Okay, so let's say we can write something like this. Select sum of salary. Now, what is the output here? That is total salary for the company. Sum is 875,000. But if you want, you can say like this sum from employee where, okay, where salary greater than or equal to 175,000. So that means take only salaries greater than 175,000 and sum it for all the employees. No group by. So this means bigger than 175,000. So that means you must have this, only these three, right? So that means its sum is 560,000. 560,000. Only one record is not considered. 560,000. Is it clear? That means your where condition filter out records, and only those records are used to get the sum. Get the sum. So still you can use where. Where will filter out initially. Initial filtering. Is it clear? And again you can use and or not. Okay. Then there's another interesting concept. That is, say you can say sum of salary from employee, rather than where I can use group having. Okay. Say select sum of salary from employee, group by department ID. So this is simple query, right? Because I group by department ID, if I want, I can show department ID also because it makes more sense. So that means department ID and it's sum. So this is not new thing. Okay. Sum of salary. Okay, let's do it. Department ID, it's sum. But if you want, you can do like this. Now, when you show the results, if that sum is, let's say, bigger than 200,000, only show it. That means it should show only 2 and 3. How to do that? Now you can't use where, because we are going to filter based on this output value. Where condition is all we can't use because where condition filter the initial records, not the final results. Now, if you want to filter final results, you must use having, not where. Now we are into the challenging area. Okay. So you can say having. Again, you need to use something like this. Sum of salary, let's say bigger than 200,000. So that means get the department ID and the sum of the salary for each department. But if that sum is greater than 200,000, only show it. Otherwise, don't show it. So that means this time we are not going to see this record, this sum, because this is not bigger than 200,000. But other two values we are going to see because we are using having. Can see? So having will filter out the final results. Whereas where filter out the initial records filtering. Initial record filtering, where? Filtering your aggregated results, summary query results, having. Okay. For example, I can even combine these two. These are the very tricky scenarios. Examiners have not asked these kind of questions so far. Say this is final results. If it is greater than or equal to 200, only show it. But at the same time, you can have where. Say where salaries or anything else greater than 150,000. So this is initial filtering. So take only salaries bigger than 150,000 and get the sum of those salaries department wise. But if your final salary value, some value is greater than 200,000, only show it. Otherwise, don't show the aggregated value. So this is sort of the highest level of complexity. So when we sum, we take only employees with salary greater than 150,000. If our sum is greater than 200,000 only, we show it. Okay. Now, if I don't want to see this, I can say greater than or equal to 365,000, having part. Now there will be only one record for this query. And that will be department to 370,000. Just one record. Initially filtered the record using where. Then final results are filtered using having. Again, you can't give something like name here. It doesn't make sense. You will get error. You will get an error. Right? Any questions? Right. So we have covered summary queries and also use of where and having or summary queries with group by and also use of having to filter out the final results and also you can use at the same times where to filter out the initial records. Initial records are filtered out using where. Aggregate records are filtered out using having. Right? Any questions? Because we don't want to do joins today because we have done a lot of things today and we are almost at the end of the database subject. We need another about 1 hour session to discuss about joins. So we will discuss what is inner join, left outer join, right outer join, full outer join. Okay. And then we are done. So then we will do some more past paper questions. So then uh, database subject is over. Okay. So now how many topics we have finished? So next week we will be definitely finishing this. Um, so that means we have finished more than half of the syllabus, right? Obviously, right. Right. So next class we will finish this. So then we have programming, web development. So those are the two big topics, critical topics. So once programming and web development is done, it's like your syllabus is done. Okay. Other two topics, don't worry. The other three topics, those are very small topics. So this we can do even in 2 sessions. Uh, internet new trends, we can do it in another 2 sessions. That means we can do those two subtopics within 1 month. But Internet of Things, you need at least about 1 month again. Okay, so that means we are going to finish your syllabus pretty soon, right? Possibly end of this year. Okay, right. So we stop at this point, right? I will share you the code, but make sure you do this practically, right? Go to SQL, command line, no PHP, my admin, no whatever, and do these things, right? That is why I'm like every day I share you the code. Right? Not to look at the code, but to uh, do it. Okay, right. So we'll stop at this point, right? Thank you. I will share you the code. Okay.